Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. What's up, guys? It's Ben from DWC Fab. Today we're going to work on a welding table from weldtables.com. It's CertiFlat, just the weld tabletop itself, but they have different variations of the table. You can get the Fab block, which is pretty much different sizes of this weld table you see here. It's a 3x4, but it also has a 6-inch extension coming down the side of it, which is a solid table for pretty much any aspect of jig work. But today we're going to work on this 3x4, and I wanted to throw this video together because I'm just your basic guy. Nothing special here, and I want to show that anybody can do this table and come out with a pretty flat product. And all you really need is a file, flashlight, a dead blow hammer. I made up a couple brackets just to bolt the center sections down, just because I don't have clamps long enough to reach. Some 5/8 bolts, some washers, possibly some nuts. But the principle of this table is pretty much it's 5/8 circles on a 2-inch center to center length to set up for any strong hand jig assortment. But let's get going with this table. I want to really time it to see how long it really takes. I'm hoping to get this table done in hopefully less than an hour. We'll see what happens. Alright, we're going to start out by getting each of the slats. Just slide them in their respective slots. Most of them are probably going to take a little bit of persuasion to go in, just due to it all being laser cut to precise fitment. And as stated earlier, check for your burrs, make sure there's nothing that can possibly hang you up. I pre-drilled the 2 end slots for my table. Just did 3/8 holes. I want my table to be able to pivot upwards for storage purposes, so I can get a little bit closer to the wall if I need a little bit of extra space to pull in a vehicle. You can also buy the leg kit separately for these tables as well, or buy it as a complete kit. Being I had extra metal laying around and some casters, I decided just to buy the tabletop itself and weld up my own table legs, just so I can have a use for the metal, so I'm not really wasting some square tube laying around. But we're going to take the clamps, get the clamps around all the corners, get everything seated around the corners, and work our way towards the center. And on their website, on their video, they said make sure you have plenty of clamps, and if you don't, just go to Home Depot, get a couple cheap ones. I went to Harbor Freight, got these for $2 while they were on sale. Let's see how handy they are. They are from Harbor Freight, so probably won't last long. Now that we have our exterior clamps on, we're going to work on the interior. Like I said earlier, I made these little brackets to go straight through, which will help simplify trying to get the center section done. Alright, we're going to do the last bracket. I'm going to see if I can get you guys to hear, whenever you're tightening the center section down, you'll hear it creaking. As soon as it stops to creak, that pretty much lets you know that it's already been flushed and centered, so you don't need to tighten any further. After that, we'll check everything with a level, make sure everything's square from end to end, and we'll proceed to start welding after that. But let's see if we can get this thing to scream at me. You can start hearing it popping right there. say she's tight now. So we're gonna go through. She mad. Now that everything's tight, we're going to go through this eyeball to see if we can see any light gaps in between the table and the brackets itself. We'll just give them a little bit of love tap to get them to go flush, and then we'll put a flat edge on here to see how square everything is. Now that we did a quick run through to see all the obvious gaps, we'll take a little flat edge and run it across. And we're just feeling for resistance across each beam. Making sure we get a nice scrub. We got a little bit of a high spot on this side. Just give it a little tap. We'll do one final run through with the flat. This flat edge isn't quite perfect. I threw it on the mill table just to see how flat it was, but for what I need, it's going to be perfect. So next step to the process is we're going to go to opposing corners to try to minimize heat, keep the distortion down from welding. But we're going to do a 3/4 inch beam in each crevice all the way across the table, just on the bracketry itself. Once we get that part done, we'll flip the table over, and then we'll do the slides. For this process, I'm using a Millimatic 211. Pretty much have it on the auto set feature using 030 wire. And being that my wife cares about my health a lot more than I do, I gotta wear this thing from now on. Now that we have a 3/4 inch bead set in each corner, we're going to go ahead and flip the table over and work on the slides. Now that we have the table flipped over, I went ahead and did a quick check. Make sure that the table was still pretty flat. It's not going to be perfect, but it's probably within at least 0.010 of an inch, which is more accurate than anything that I'm going to be doing on this table itself. But we'll go through them. We're going to just do a tack in each individual slot, and then we'll go back through, weld them all in, try to keep the relevant heat spread across the table so we're not just isolating one area of the table at once. And once we get all that done, we'll unbolt everything, take the clamps off, and see what we have.
Now that everything is tacked, we're going to go through and we're going to hit each one filling in the bridge.
Now that table's finished, all the slots have been used a flap wheel, just lightly, just to flatten it out a little bit, and went through with a orbital to give it a nice little finish. Last thing we do is just do a final check. This table is pretty daggone flat. You can't argue with just having basic tools and a welder, having a table like this for the price that you can get it for. What I'm going to do is get this table on top of the leg assembly that I already prefabbed earlier this morning, and set the brackets up for the pivoting action for storage purposes. Alright guys, I've pretty much got the table mounted to the leg assembly that I prefabbed, and this is just to demonstrate the tilt mechanism. All it is just two brackets I welded with 3/8 holes so I can throw in some bolts just so I can get it to pivot forward, just to get it another foot closer to the wall, just in case I do need that added space. But check out their tables. They're amazing tables from what I've seen. I'll find out firsthand once I start making my own dowels with dropping the 5/8 holes. Strong hand tools, they have preset tools to drop in these holes, but honestly they are a little costly, so I'm just going to use the lathe to make up my own. But go to weldingtables.com, check them out. They have various products, different sizes from 2 foot by 3 foot, I believe, upwards to full-size tables, and you can get custom size. Just give them a call. Their customer service is amazing. I did have a little issue due to the shipping. UPS dropped the ball a little bit with this package, and Welding Tables, they instantly responded back and said if I had any complications, they'll expedite anything that I would possibly need. But superb customer service, excellent quality on their product. I barely had to file anything to get anything to fit. The only reason why I did have to do a little bit of filing is just due to UPS dropping the ball. But check them out, weldingtables.com. Check out their new fab blocks that just came out recently, and they have something else coming out this week. Check them out, weldingtables.com.